Right now on the National Weather Desk, after the storms, a closer look at the damage and the impact in communities ravaged by tornadoes.
I hope I never have to go through again.
You always hear about tornadoes, but you never see them.
Large hailstones trigger flooding in Michigan.
Probably the craziest thing that I've ever seen in my whole life.
The East Coast prepares for a weather roller coaster, while the Pacific Northwest sees feet of snow.
Courtesy of an atmospheric river that extended way out into the Pacific.
We'll help you understand the National Weather Service's update to weather warnings.
The new system gives you more information about how strong it could be.
And the growing concerns over the diminishing monarch butterfly population.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. It promises to be a long road to recovery for the communities impacted by this week's tornado outbreaks. We now know the twisters claimed 2 lives. An elderly couple was found dead in the rubble of their Indiana home. At least 30 buildings in this town were destroyed, with more than 100 more damaged. Elsewhere in Indiana, a tornado ripped through a solar panel farm, leaving panels mangled in trees and scattered across fields. This satellite view shows you just how quickly and how big those tornadoes developed as they left a path across Illinois and Indiana. Right now, we want to take a closer look at the damage and impact in both of those states, and we start with Tim Spears, in Lake Village, Indiana.
You always hear about tornadoes, but you never see them.
This is what Cameron Patchett arrived to coming home from work Wednesday morning. A cross-state supercell plucked trees from the ground, shredded shingles off of roofs, and left some Lake Village homes demolished.
And you heard a big boom, and it got nasty. It got real nasty.
This is one of the 4 tornadoes that touched down during the storm that spread from Illinois to northwest Indiana, spotted about 10 miles from Lake Village. This is the aftermath. A pocket of businesses off US 41 destroyed. Throughout the area, just large pieces of debris scattered around. Here at the Family Dollar, the roof not just collapsed, completely ripped off.
I hope I never have to go through again.
Startled awake hours before sunup, Carl Ranke and his wife had not made it downstairs before the roof above them was ripped off.
Looked out the window and I seen that pine tree fly up, so I took off running.
He ran to wake up his wife.
And it was too late. The roof left and lights went out. Next thing I know, my wife's screaming. She's buried under debris.
He helped her out.
By the time we got to the staircase, it was over.
The Rankes and their dog had made it through the storm. Just down the road, Larry Gildner and his wife had a similar but less harrowing story to tell.
At about that time, we heard glass. Boom. Something come through the window and got up and looked, and it was a board yay long come through the window, and that's what we found.
That board could have come from anywhere. The storm took out part of his barn and knocked a massive tree over onto the house. The debris blocked their way out.
We usually use the front door there, or that door, to come out, and obviously I get ready to open the door up, and you got a tree down there.
Both uninjured, they started cleaning up and called for help.
Michigan didn't see any tornadoes Tuesday night, but the Grand Rapids area saw large hail. The hailstones were so big they caused flooding. Colin Roos shows us the damage.
It is probably the craziest thing that I've ever seen in my whole life.
Drew Hall was watching TV with his wife around 9:30 Tuesday night when they first noticed the severe weather hitting their neighborhood on the east side of Grand Rapids. It started slow, but quickly took a turn for the worse.
She's like, Drew, come look outside. And we looked, and by then it's about 4 feet of water.
They took this video from their window as emergency vehicles started rolling in. His neighbor's basement wall collapsed, forcing crews to dig up the street to stop the flooding.
I told the girls to go downstairs because I didn't know, just in case, because it sounded pretty intense.
Cars had been moved, the water had been picked up the cars and moved them around.
Grand Rapids emergency management team coordinated the city's response. Administrator Benjamin Rance says hail plugged some of the sewers, preventing rain from draining off the roads. With no injuries reported, neighbors were left to shovel large amounts of hail from their driveways and check their homes for any potential flooding.
And we are monitoring back-to-back winter storms this morning. A system will move from the northern plains all the way to northern New England today through Saturday. And some areas could see blizzard-like conditions with 6 inches of snow and wind gusts up to 55 miles per hour. By Sunday, a second storm will bring more winter weather to the Midwest and Great Lakes. And in the meantime, the Cascade Mountains are getting feet of snow. Seattle meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell has more.
Hi there, everybody. It's meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. We are talking about that rare blizzard warning that was in place for the Cascades and the Olympics in Washington Wednesday night as it was underway at White Pass. Look at that blowing snow from the tower cam there at about 4,500 to 5,000 feet, all courtesy of an atmospheric river that extended way out into the Pacific, not the subtropically rooted Pineapple Express variety that ruined our snowpack in December. Instead, that plume of moisture coming straight across the Pacific, combining with those gusty winds to give us that blizzard warning into the overnight for the Cascades and the Olympics. As the winds die down after sunrise and the snow continues to pile up, that blizzard warning becomes a winter storm warning that lasts through Saturday. An additional few feet of snow expected there in the mountains of Washington through the end of the week. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell.
And all that winter weather is impacting drivers on mountain roads. Meteorologist Stella Sun is in Snoqualmie Pass, just outside of Seattle, with more.
Along I-90 eastbound, State Patrol enforcing its chain up or pay up policy near Snoqualmie Pass. Drivers who don't chain up their ride will face a $500 fine.
Considering everybody kind of got caught off guard, not too many people have chains.
Roland Slazak is a certified chain installer contracted through WashDOT.
Quite a few people that don't know how to put them on. That's what I'm here for.
Slazak and his team helping this driver get home to eastern Washington.
I'm just trying to get home back to my fiance. We had to move our wedding from October all the way up to April, so that's why I flew home to Tennessee to wedding dress shop. But now I'm back, just trying to get home.
Driving conditions got worse further up the mountain. Blowing snow. Visibility below a quarter mile.
Hopefully they don't close it or anything and we can get back down. I got a sleeping bag, so if I have to.
Despite tricky travel conditions, snowboarders and skiers stoked for the fresh winter white.
A lot of snow's coming down and yeah, it's pretty deep in certain spots. Everyone's having a good time out there though.
People on both coasts are experiencing weather whiplash. In the Northeast, cities like New York and Washington saw record highs yesterday and will likely see snowflakes later today and tomorrow. That means a 40 to 50 degree temperature drop. In the meantime, Southern California is bracing for a long-lasting heat wave. Leslie Martin is in Long Beach, where people are taking precautions because many there don't have air conditioning.
We call it summer in March, so we will take it.
Temperatures in the 90s at the beach means more business. But for him, it also means his beachside home with no AC will get a little stuffy.
Yeah, you don't have that airflow. We have fans. We have ceiling fans. So as long as we have some airflow going.
Up and down the coast, many people are still living without AC, including John Valverde, who lives inside the Blackstone Apartments, a historic building built back in the 1920s.
Before I got the little air conditioner unit, it gets pretty warm.
Some Long Beach students will also have to bear the heat in class. Several schools, including Long Beach Poly, don't have AC. The district says they take heat mitigation measures, which include installing portable fans, limiting outdoor activity, and opening windows to ventilate classrooms.
This week's storm outbreak was vast, but not uncommon. March is typically when severe weather ramps up. Meteorologist Julia Haley explains why that happens.
March through May marks the traditional spring severe weather season. Warm, humid air moves north from the Gulf of Mexico, while cooler, drier air drops south from the northern United States. Where those air masses meet, storms can quickly develop. And the United States experiences more tornadoes than anywhere else in the world. The National Severe Storms Laboratory says about 1,200 tornadoes hit the United States each year. Much of that activity occurs across the Great Plains and Midwest during the spring months. Activity begins increasing in March and typically peaks in late spring.
The countdown to peak bloom is officially underway for Washington's famed cherry blossoms. Yesterday, the National Park Service announced the trees reached the first of 6 stages. The appearance of green buds. It's the exact same day that stage arrived last year. Peak bloom is when 70% of the blossoms are open, and peak bloom is projected to be from March 29th to April 1st. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, the National Weather Service is updating their severe weather warnings. We'll show you what has changed, and we'll find out why officials in California are sounding the alarm about monarch butterflies.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. Cooler air is moving into the Northeast today. Any leftover showers from last night, they're for the most part moving out this morning. A few spots may see a little bit of rainfall, especially southeastern Massachusetts, the Cape, and the islands here. Look for a clearing trend, and we'll start our Friday with some sun. Clouds will quickly increase, though. Our next weather maker should bring us some snow and potentially a little bit of rain for Friday night. That's moving out on Saturday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. The cold front that's moving through, very strong cold front, will be bringing still some rain behind the system as we move through your Thursday, tracking that along with the potential even for some light snowfall. Going into Friday, looks mostly dry, but we will be tracking windier conditions and colder air still to linger. 40s for highs on Thursday, low 50s for highs on Friday is about as warm as we will get.
Good Thursday morning. Meteorologist Michael Arenberg with a look at your southeast regional forecast. A strong cold front will bring showers and storms, maybe even some mountain snow in the highest elevations of Tennessee and western North Carolina. Showers pushing through central and eastern North Carolina, South Carolina, and through North Florida, central Florida during the afternoon, and into South Florida during the late afternoon, and then on into the evening hours. A big temperature gradient behind the front, chilly highs in the 50s, 70s for the Carolinas, 80s to near 90 in central and South Florida.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
And the National Weather Service is changing how they issue severe weather warnings. And to help better understand these changes, we turn to meteorologist Emily Gracie.
Traditionally, convective outlooks use a 5-level risk scale from marginal to high. That tells you how likely severe weather is in an area. That part's not going away. But there is one part that could be confusing. When you looked at the individual threats like tornado, hail, and wind, you probably noticed those hatched areas, those shaded zones showing where significant severe weather was possible, but they didn't really explain how intense that severe weather could be. Starting this month, the SPC is replacing those hatched areas with something called Conditional Intensity Groups, or CIGs, on Day 1, Day 2, and Day 3 outlooks. So instead of just showing where significant severe weather might happen, the new system gives you more information about how strong it could be if storms do develop. Here's how it works. SIG 1 means a lower end significant event is possible. SIG 2 signals a moderate intensity threat. SIG 3 highlights areas where intense or potentially violent storms are more likely. These categories appear directly on the Outlook maps, making it easier to quickly spot not just the risk area, but the potential severity within it. The goal is simple, to help you understand both where severe weather could occur and how impactful it might be, so you can make better decisions ahead of the storm. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Emily Gracie.
So far this winter has been a tale of two halves in Wisconsin. It's an area that most people associate with snowy winters, and it started out that way this season, but as we moved into 2026, that snowfall slowly considerably. Meteorologist Phil DeCastro has more.
It's been an interesting winter, to put it mildly, and you only need to look at our snow totals to get the story. Overall, we're sitting at 36.6 inches of snow for this winter so far. That's through March 10th, Tuesday, and that's below average. Sure, normally we're about 10 inches ahead of that at 46.2 inches, but it's not a crazy outlier by historical standards. The thing is that we've gotten there in a very unusual way. From the start of the winter through the end of December, we piled up nearly 2 feet feet of snow. That's a very fast start to the winter season, more than 6 inches clear of what we normally see, which is about 16.5 inches. But after that, it's been nearly the polar opposite. From January 1st through March 10th, we normally get about 30 inches of snow. This year, we've only seen 13.5 inches over that time frame. That's a deficit of 16 inches, a massive turnaround. We got off to one of the 25 snowiest starts to a winter, only to then see the 17th least snowy winter once we started 2026. Now, obviously, this is likely to turn around drastically in the coming days, but it's been tough sledding for snow lovers the last couple months.
Yeah, the snow machine turned off. Scientists in California are concerned over the low monarch butterfly population, but as Gerard Zinn reports, they're not on the endangered species list just yet.
The latest counts of monarch butterflies are the third lowest in recorded history, but their addition to the endangered species list has been delayed.
They said, okay, things are postponed, like listings are postponed, not just for the monarch butterfly, but for other species too.
Scientists with the Xerces Society say the evidence showing the butterflies are a threatened species still holds.
Fish and Wildlife Service agreed that monarchs should be listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act. However, the listing has been postponed, and we don't know when that will start up again.
Studies reveal that in addition to environmental factors beyond control, such as weather patterns and wildfires, the use of herbicides and pesticides is one of the leading causes of the species' decline in population.
I think what's most striking and concerning from my perspective is that the 3 lowest counts have all occurred in the last 5 years. And so this is kind of typical of what we see with species in decline.
Butterflies give scientists indicators of overall ecological health. They also serve as pollinators along with bees, and they provide food for birds and wildlife.
There's an awesome website called Cowscape, and you can just type in your address or zip code, type in milkweed, and it'll generate a list of all the milkweed that's native to you. Then I think one of the top things people can do is also reduce or limit their reliance on pesticides.
People can help the monarchs by gardening plants that yield nectar and milkweed, which is a host plant for caterpillars.
There are few quite symbols as patriotic as the bald eagle, and there are few places to see them in the wild, quite like Washington State. And as we celebrate America's 250th birthday, Molly Shen takes us bird watching in the Skagit Valley to show us just how these majestical creatures soar.
The shores of Bayview State Park offer views of the San Juan Islands, a rocky beachfront, and a daily walk for Dave Helgeson. The retiree will spend a couple hours here looking out at the scenery, but also up.
You look for them because you know they're here, and they're so cool to watch.
They are the bald eagles that frequent the treetops of Skagit County.
Yeah, we're blessed because there's eagles everywhere. And you don't really realize it until you start looking, and you're always seeing them.
Eagles are flying around here. You see blue herons. Sometimes you'll see a few owls.
It's why photographers like Garv Nayar drive north every week.
I can never get tired of seeing eagles. I've taken probably hundreds and hundreds of photos of eagles. Okay, there we go. Yeah, good eyes. You have to be fast because they move so quickly. It's amazing.
Rain or shine, it is a photographer's paradise.
When you're looking at them through your lens, your camera, they make that kind of like an eye contact. It's like they can see you through the lens, and when they look at you, it's like, wow, I'm staring at you eye to eye, and it's amazing. This is what I was stating earlier, is that just patience. I mean, this is what you capture. This amazing eagles just sitting there. And you got 3 behind you on a perched on a tree also. Yeah.
It's a boon for birders, too. Kate Brown leads bird watching tours.
People here are sometimes kind of nonchalant about eagles because we're just so used to seeing them every day, almost as backyard birds. But just the absolute sheer number of them that you can see here in this spot is really, really special.
She brought Judy Ramos here, who recently moved to Washington from Texas, where she rarely saw bald eagles.
This has been great because we see them even when we don't mean to look for them. And then on a day like today when you hope to see them, well, we've got lots of luck today.
Of course, the days aren't all lucky. If you venture out and the eagle viewing is scant, consider this advice.
If you're always in a rush trying to find what you're looking for, you're never going to find it. You just gotta relax and just enjoy what's in front of you.
That, he says, is when the eagles appear and the magic happens.
It's just so peaceful.
And time now for a short break, but first we take to the skies over the shores of West Palm Beach, Florida.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. We have a little rain snow mix across the far north today, but as we continue into the day tomorrow, winds are going to pick up, especially across the Great Lakes. As we head into your Saturday, got a little bit of snow mix kicking its way in across the plains with chilly temperatures for most of the Midwest, a little warmer to the south.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. We're waking up a little on the chilly side early this morning for our friends in Amarillo and Oklahoma, even up into Dallas and back over in the middle and into the 40s. Pretty warm down to the south. Cold front continues to push on down to the south. All the wind that we had yesterday kind of moving down just a little bit, and that means we'll see another sunny but cool day today. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there and a good Thursday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, look at all of the heat back again in the Valley of the Sun. 90s for spring training around Phoenix and into Tucson versus highs close to 80 in LA. Looks nice there. Up in the northern tier, though, wet and very windy. Lots of mountain snow over the Cascades in Washington and Oregon, and winds gusting to over 60 through parts of Montana and Wyoming. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
We take you to Wisconsin, where chunks of ice are pushing their way out of Lake Winnebago. Folks from near the far and fascinated with the sight. Marlo Lundak spoke with some of them.
Along the western shore of Lake Winnebago and Oshkosh, backyards are filled with massive ice chunks, some of it just feet away from homes.
I think if you lived in this house, it wouldn't be a lot of fun, but it's unique, yes.
I feel sorry for the people that have to deal with it, but that's part of nature.
Roger and Susan drove 40 minutes from Waiawega. What do you think?
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. We've seen it on the East Shore years ago, where it piles up really high, but I've never seen it quite like this on the West Shore.
Jay and Gail are reverse snowbirds. They live in Tampa, but come back to Oshkosh to experience the winter.
Then I was shocked, though, to see what it really meant. I thought it was just gathered snow at first until you get closer.
About 50 years ago, we lived here, so we had just a little bit of the ice shove, but this is crazy this year.
We'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. Make it a great day. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.